Hey guys, how's it going? Nick is here, and today I want to talk about the philosophy of sales. So, as you remember my first video where I talked about going from dead broke to making my sales on Amazon, I mentioned that I had a window cleaning company where I pretty much learned the ropes of door to door sales. I think, in my opinion, door to door is the best and fastest way to learn. It's also the most, I guess, embarrassing way to learn because you're going to get a lot of no's. You have to overcome a lot of internal barriers quickly. Um, but let's focus specifically on online marketing and Amazon. So in the series that I did, building a listing, I drove home, the the whole basically like choosing proper keywords so that when somebody searches something, they get your product for a reason, not because you stuffed the back end with keywords, but because it's actually relevant to the search of the person. And then also making the description and the bullet points and the title in that sense, where it's relevant to what the person is looking for. And I think what makes good advertising is honesty and transparency, which is something that I want to go by. And a big guy, I guess, kind of dude in the industry that I look up to is Gary Vaynerchuk. And if you guys haven't seen him or heard of him, I'll link his blog down below. His YouTube channel is awesome. Like every morning I go to work out, I listen to his videos, his daily V videos. They're so motivational. I love listening to this guy. Not to mention he's from Belarus like myself. In terms of online sales, I know that I've been noticing a lot of clickbaity kind of titles and misleading explanations where it's like you think you're going to get one thing, and the person talks for a while, but then you think about like, what did I just learn? And it's really not a whole lot. So that's why I kind of aim to have my videos straight to the point, and I rewatch them very carefully, and I reshoot a lot of times because I feel like I just rant, and you don't get any value from it. So the general philosophy of sales, how you want to approach it, is you want to think very long term, because if let's say, for an example, when I'm selling something on Amazon, let's say I have a product, let's say baby earmuffs that I'm selling, I want to be very upfront to say that not only who this is good for, but also who it's not good for. I want to be transparent in terms of my materials used. I want to be transparent in terms of like, hey, if you don't like something, you should tell me about it, or you should make it public, one or the other, right? And I think that transparency is it's gonna be something that more and more producers will be taking on, simply because when you're not transparent, when you're not honest, that's always going to come back to bite you in the ass, especially now because we have like power to the people kind of thing going on, where we have social media, we have all these reviews down at the bottom, we have solid feedback. So you could do a sprint potentially, and I've seen this done before. You could do a sprint where you launch 5 to 10 products, maybe 20 products under a seller, like one seller, and you just make ridiculously low prices. You go hard on pay-per-click advertising, and then you sell anywhere between 50 to 100k revenue, but then you have like 2 to 3 star reviews because the product is actually not good quality. That is not what we're going for. That is not a very sustainable sustainable business to build. And you can always make something very pretty with marketing, or a pretty looking website, or have like the original 50 to 100 reviews to be bought, something, or rather. But you just have to have faith in the organic process, and that people will sympathize with that. People will be drawn to to honesty, and they will see, like, you can always tell difference, I think. Maybe not always, but a lot of times you can tell the difference between a listing that has been carefully organized and it almost seems like too good to be true, like, wow, like this feedback has been like too well structured, to a person just genuinely giving their thoughts and feedback, and why they believe this product is good or bad, one or the other, right? That's why I always like to go, I look at a range of 2 to 4 star reviews, because 5, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, and 1 is just useless for me, to be honest, because people just get mad about one thing, and it's the outliers. Even in some of the lower subpar products, like, you can always find the good in something. So that's one thing. Another thing in the general concept of sales is you want to put the customer first always. So no matter what they say, it's like, oh, this is broken, I didn't like this. Like, approach it from a human standpoint. I mean, don't be a pushover. Don't let somebody like, I want this for free and I deserve this and that. Like, it's okay to say no. And I think if you ever present a case, if they want to make the case public, you can make the case public too and say, look, here's an exchange, here's what I did, and I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I did everything by the book, I treated them well, and they kind of overstepped some boundaries. So have your boundaries, but always sympathize with people, right? Like, for you as a seller, you can always get a return, and as far as cost goes, you might lose some money, but I think it's better to make one person happy than to save or to profit, let's say a couple of hundred even dollars. Like, I will always put that first, because now they will they will hold your brand in high regard. Even if they don't buy anything from you, it'll always be a story in their life. Like, a couple of years down the line, it's like, oh, that's a cool thing, where'd you get it? I got it on Amazon. And funny story, like, this happened, and then this guy was actually really cool to me, and he reimbursed me, or he got me another unit, and like, it was genuinely their mistake, but he did really well, and I appreciate that. Not to mention the seller feedback and the reviews that you get. So these things will always come into play, and I will always tread on the side of being cautious in terms of, I know what the outcome will be if I act a certain way now, but I don't know what the outcome will be in the future. So I would rather have set up a platform of sorts in terms of customer service and marketing, in terms of like being honest and genuine, like describing the product how it is, to give myself the best chance of positive future unknown outcome than negative. What I mean by that is, if somebody has a genuine grievance with you or your product, grievance might be a strong word, but something that they weren't satisfied with, and you can see that there is a possibility that might have been your fault or the fulfillment warehouse's fault, just take the blame on yourself. Just do it. That's what we do as sellers. We take care of our customers because they trusted us in the first place. And just make it right. Whatever it takes, make it right, because that will set you up. There's only good that can come from that. I've never really heard somebody complain where a seller goes out of his way and, hey, I'm going to reimburse you. I'm going to give you a new product. Like, I'm sorry, even though it could be like potentially argued that it's 50-50, it's 50% customer fault, 50% your fault, you just take on the responsibility on yourself. Like, I've never heard somebody complain about that, but people will complain about, oh man, they dare say that it's 50% my fault. Like, who do they think they are? I'm going to go to someone else. Just always side on this. Always go with caution, and always assume responsibility for everything. So more towards the marketing advice, when you're putting in pay-per-click, when you're putting in back-end keywords, when you're doing your listing, try to narrow in. Like what I always talk about with product, same thing. Like, niche it down and look at it from a customer's perspective. If you were to buy this product, would this keyword really fit? Like, if you search this keyword and this product came up, would that really be relevant? And I've heard some arguments before where it's better to put the product in front of customers' eyeballs than to not have it there at all and have them glance over it, than just not to have it there at all. And on some level, I do agree with that. But you have to use common logic. Like, you're not going to put in the back end plastic reusable cups when, let's say, you have a tumbler. Like, I just don't see the relevancy in that, and I would much rather be relevant in a small niche. Like I always say, big fish in a small pond to start, and then you can grow out of that, than to kind of just hyper target everything and anything, and now you're trying to appeal to all these 10 different niches or these 5 different niches with just this one product. I think that's a bit of a recipe for disaster, although I have seen, like I said, it's all relative. I've seen some people do just that and be quite successful at it. So it all depends on the product and the situation. But this is just something to think about, guys. I hope you consider it. Leave me some comments or questions down below. Really appreciate your feedback, and I'll see you later.